So my name is Udeme Etibensi. I am the futurist. By God's grace, I'm a four-star director with Longrich International. I started this business officially in May 2013. If you open my back office, that's what you're going to see. I think 3rd May or thereabout, it was the first week of May. My upline, which I'm sure she should be on this call, she used to be Miss Etido Udo, now Etido Lawrence, she's a pastor now, had come into my house, my living room, and you know, when you're in government, it looks like everything is all rosy and everything is fine. And she saw this very okay living room, or husband in politics and all of those things. But she told me about Longrich, and sincerely, as at that time, I was a teacher. I was teaching for a commissioner in my state. So one of the things that came to my mind was, what is she talking about? If it has anything to do with network marketing, I'm not doing. But she introduced me to a friend of hers who became a mutual friend, Britannia Okodua. Nee is her name. She's with Longrich Houston at the moment. So Britannia said, if I had the time, I should, whenever I'm in Lagos, let me, I should see her. So one of the things that came to my mind was, why do I need to see this woman? She's a big lady in the bank. Etido works with the federal government. I am just a teacher. These people have like a job, something that is bringing in money for them. So why would they want me to do network marketing? And if they really tell the truth about these figures that are talking about, then they shouldn't be doing some other jobs. They should do this full time. So I didn't believe anything they said. So I did not do anything from May, June, July. It was in August that I started Longrich. So I waited 3 months to use the packs and the liners they gave me. I waited 3 months to find out that it worked with me. It had to be a personal testimony first before I was able to relate it to some other person. So like I used to tell people, it does not matter when you start. What matters is what you do the second you start. The morning happens for anybody and everybody the second you decide to wake up. So I had started May. I never did anything. I didn't even go see anybody until I went to Lagos in August. So it was in August I met Britannia, and the two things I saw ran this business for me. Very first thing was that this babe was a babe. You know, it did not look like what I had in my mind about network marketing. I've always felt that network marketers, as far as we have it all here, are people that are going to be selling products. There is nothing professional about them. You know, I really had my own opinion until I got to find out this lady showed me her alert, how much she was making, about 300 to 400K, which I did not believe. I saw it, but I did not believe. And it's okay when people don't believe you. And then she showed me her house in Lekki and said she had one more on the mainland. Did I believe it? No. I found that she was single. So the first thing that came to my mind is like, yeah, tell us it's some man, you know, but I didn't tell her that obviously. I'm like, okay, these bankers. I did not believe anything. She showed me all of those things and then took me to Ajanaku Crescent. That's where Longrich started. That was our first office. Okay, so I got in there and I was very displeased because I saw Chinese everywhere. The place didn't look together. And I'm like, how could you guys making this kind of money? The place looks like this was Ajanaku, is not where we are today, just like behind it. But she did something that till tomorrow, whenever I tell my story, I bring in Etido, I bring in Britannia, because they were amazing mentors to me as far as this business is concerned. She stood upstairs where we were and told me, Udeme, I'm a woman of integrity. I don't just do things because I just want to do things. Let me tell you something. I'm definitely going to leave the banking sector and I'm going to get into something else. But when I leave for America, I'm going to do Longrich full time. Whether it is in America or not, I'll do it full time. But can I show you a few things so you have an idea how we make this money? Because I'm sure you don't believe me. It was very apt for me to know that first she does not believe. She noticed that I did not believe everything she said. Now that was I'm someone that can just and you don't know what I'm thinking. So that caught me. I'm like, oh, okay. So she now took a board, more like a marker, and wrote out a few things. She told me how they made their money and how she was able to make these figures even while with a steady 9 to 5. She told me, Udeme, I work my bank job like my life depends on it from beginning to the end. My 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. When I get back home, I try to prospect people. And then when I am done, the next thing I do is this, I get back to doing my business over the weekend. So if you try it, you can do it. Now, at this point of my life, she did not know that I had a lot going on in my life. As a matter of fact, I was in Lagos on a separation. I had so much emotional baggage happening to me. I fled my home, domestic violence, family felt we should separate and everything. So this is me just following her, thinking I was going to hear, okay, this is not network marketing. Can I just give you some money and you just start another job? That was my mentality. I was still cloned with the mentality of job. But thank God, she gave the money to Etido around that time and said, you're going to return this money in 3 months. And we got that conversation out of the way. And I got back to Akwa Ibom. When I got back here, I told myself, because of the last conversations we had, I knew that this was something worth doing. So I really told myself, if these people could do these things, one lives in New York, the other person lives in Lagos, I'm also going to settle down and run this business as if my life depended on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I came in and every information I could get, I got it, because I came in with that whole mind that first I wanted my marriage to work. So I just wanted to be everything virtuous, from that woman that is very industrious to that woman that is not going to look for anybody's trouble before there will be problems, to that mother that will be able to feed the children because it was really bad with us, and so many things. And so I got back home and then I was in my house alone. Yeah, remember we separated. I was in my house alone for 3 months, and in those 3 months, I was able to qualify for my first car. I didn't have to go anywhere. I worked from the house. So I'll take my first son to the crèche. The other guy was barely 6 months. And I was just at home doing this business. So for me, it got me to understand that everything starts and ends with you. What do you want? What's your idea towards life? What do you think you have that the world needs? And seriously, I tell whoever cares to hear, after all is said and done, it starts and ends with you. That's the truth. Yes, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. See, we always talk about loving people. You can never give what you do not have. That's why the scripture says, love your neighbor as yourself. So there has to be a self-loving to be able to go out. There would never have been any form of motivation I would have gotten anywhere in the world if it did not start from my inside. Yes, I saw a few things I saw. I didn't believe them. And then she spoke and then could figure me out that I don't still believe these things. But she said, it's all dependent on you. Another thing Britannia said to me that got me, to work was that she told me, listen up, I don't care how much you have or how much your husband has or whatever is going through you're going through in your life right now. What I care is that you have 2 children, and there'll be a time these children will wake up and ask you for stuff. When they wake up and ask you, and then you give an excuse, you know that will be a big shame on you. That's how she said it. It was not nice at all. And so part of the reasons I stepped out to do business the way I did was because I love competition. Healthy ones, okay? She was able to make me know, listen, I heard you did this in Unical, you were Miss Unical, you could do these things. I don't know what life has thrown at you, but if you take out time and follow through this process, a lot will change. So I got back home. I started reading up on Longrich. I didn't go anywhere. I started in a 1-room apartment. By the time I got back home, husband had sold off everything. I made a door locked, which I broke it down by myself. Yeah, I have some Jackie Chan moves. And I got into that house and I started my business in that empty apartment. I became a stockist 4 months later in that empty apartment, training my team. And today we have the World Changers team worldwide. So what was the game changer for us? Number 1 was focus. It was focus, because I came back and told myself, if people are making it happen, Udeme, you have what it takes to make it happen. You do not have to live in any location, because I told us that poverty is a universal citizen. It doesn't locate you anywhere, as it were, in a destination. It locates you in your mind. So when you think nothing can happen in my space because I don't live in Lagos, because I don't live in Abuja, because I don't live in some place, that's you telling yourself I've already failed. But if you tell yourself, listen up, I know I've got this. I know I have what it takes to become, you would go out. So that was the first thing to focus. Secondly was that I used to tell people, see, it's not just enough to be focused. What are you focused on? Okay. So this had to be a place of telling myself, who are the top players in this industry? I'm going to look out for them and start connecting with them, because success always leaves clues. We already know that. And no matter all our idiosyncrasies, no matter all our personal opinions and the things we were brought up to believe about this amazing industry, if you settle down, even if you had the wackest, the quackest industry that sells nothing, I mean nothing. That's why people like MMM and the rest could stay. If you just have a good selling pitch and then you sell the future, people will listen to you. So that's to tell us that we have a market that's already ready, because people are tired of the status quo. People are tired of the regular. And so that's what I felt. Raise people on entrepreneurship on a 5-year plan. Keep the focus on these two things: entrepreneurship, becoming a millionaire in 5 years. And that's how I was able to raise the team. I tell you, I did not stay up to 5 years here. I became a weekly millionaire. It happened in 2 years plus. I call it 3 years. So I tell people now, you can join our industry, you can join our business and become a millionaire in 3 years, and become a multi-millionaire in 5 years, and in 4 years, and become a billionaire in Naira in 5 years. And that has been my story with these few points of mine. Let me hear Mr. Charles say something. Then from there, I'm going to move to another thing, because you see, every time I have opportunity to speak, I tell people that there's always going to be a yesterday, there will be a today, and there will be a tomorrow of our journeys in life. So every time in life, you should be able to navigate life with that consciousness. Where was I yesterday? Where am I right now? Where do I want to be tomorrow? Any business person, any entrepreneur that thinks from that angle would really go far. Thank you, people. Hi, Mr. Charles. Are you here?